The African Union summit ended Tuesday, with leaders making two key decisions. Our colleague Paul Ndiho has more on the story.
The African Union on Monday elected Chadian Foreign Minister Moussa Faki Mahamat as its new commission chairperson. In the final round of voting, he beat out Kenya's top diplomat Amina Mohammed. The 56-year-old Faki takes over from South Africa's Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who remained in the post an extra 6 months after leaders failed to agree on a candidate last July. The theme of this year's meeting was harnessing the demographic dividend through investment in the youth. AU members also discussed the divisive issue of Africa's relationship to the International Criminal Court and the readmission of Morocco. Dlamini Zuma, who now is widely believed to be in the running for the president of the African National Congress, also spoke out against the new travel ban by U.S. President Donald J. Trump, barring travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries, including the African nations of Libya, Sudan, and Somalia.
The very country to whom our people were taken as slaves during the transatlantic slave trade have now decided to ban refugees from some of our countries. What do we do about this? Indeed, this is one of the greatest challenges and test to our unity and solidarity.
The new UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres spoke at the summit and commended African countries for opening up their borders to refugees and people fleeing violence, while nations in other parts of the world, including the West, are closing their borders and making plans to build walls.
African nations are also among the world's largest and most generous hosts of refugees. African borders remain open for those in need of protection when so many borders are being closed, even in the most developed countries in the world.
Sub-Saharan Africa hosts more than 18 million refugees, about 26% of the world's refugees. According to the UN Refugee Agency, the refugees have fled conflicts in Somalia, Central African Republic, Nigeria, South Sudan, and Burundi. The world's largest refugee camp is in the Dadaab facility in Kenya, which houses more than 300,000 people, mostly from neighboring Somalia. However, last year, the Kenyan government announced its intentions to close Dadaab, which has been open for more than 20 years. Kenyan officials say the camp harbors Islamic extremists and is a security threat. In another related development, Guinea's President Alpha Condé has succeeded Chad's President Idriss Déby as the chairman of the African Union. Meanwhile, the African Union formally admitted Morocco as a member on Tuesday, more than 3 decades after Rabat withdrew from the predecessor organization. The North African Kingdom quit the AU's predecessor, the Organization of African Unity, 3 decades ago amid a dispute about the body's recognition of Western Sahara, most of which has been controlled by Morocco since 1976. Paul Ndiho, VOA News, Washington.